Hi, my name is John Healy, and I've lived in the Arboretum neighborhood for almost 2 years now.
Why did you move here?
I moved here because of access to almost 450 acres of green space. I mean, DC is a pretty green city, but I love the park and trails there.
So you like it here?
I love it. Yeah, I used to live closer to the H Street corridor, which was fun for nightlife, but this is a little more tranquil, and there's a lot kind of more established families in a diverse neighborhood here that I like.
Would you change anything about your neighborhood?
Well, it's hard to find a coffee shop or a bar, although Supreme Court, the cider place is around the corner, and that's pretty nice to have. We're near Ivy City, there's some stuff there, but otherwise it really feels like a bit of a suburb. I don't think of myself as a suburb type of person. I like cities, but it does offer kind of some yard space.
Do you have a favorite memory from this neighborhood?
Every year we do have a holiday potluck, which is pretty nice because neighbors, like young and old, come together and bring food. I haven't had that in other neighborhoods in DC, so that's fun. Also, just the diversity here. I think because people are drawn to the park, we have definitely like age diversity, race diversity. People who are deaf and hard of hearing or gender identification. It's really a microcosm, I think, of the city right here. So.
Do you know the history of this neighborhood?
Most of the homes are from the 1930s.
Yeah.
I think they were built around the same time, and there's actually a brick with 1936 sketched into the chimney of my house, so that's how I knew the year on that one. But a lot of these other homes are similar style, and I think from the same time period.
So this neighborhood was built, guy last name of Chaffits. There's a foundation named after him, and he was a huge real estate magnate. And in the 1930s, there was only one house in this area. Bladensburg Road was like the big thoroughfare, and there was only one house. And he just he bought up the land around the Arboretum, and he built these one-family homes for only white people. And there was a racial covenant here, as there were in a lot of DC neighborhoods. And after the Supreme Court says you can't do this, he did it until 1964. The diversity that's here now is a direct result of that intervention.
Yeah, well, I'm thankful to the intervention then, because I think that's really interesting. I didn't know, and I would say that currently whites are in a minority here, but that's fine. That's kind of what I think makes it an interesting place, is some multi-generational families here. There's also some new families, so it's been a nice mix.
How would you describe this neighborhood for people who have never been here?
A good place for raising kids, I'm sure. You know, I don't have kids, but I see people with kids all the time.
A lot of kids.
Yeah.
That's all I got, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I once read a book that used the phrase Tony Hamlet to describe a really small part of a town, and I thought that was super pretentious, because if you could say Tony Hamlet, why can't you just say small neighborhood? It makes more sense. And besides, Tony Hamlet sounds like a fake name anyway. But then I came to Arboretum, and I realized that is an apt description. This is a Tony Hamlet. It's really only 4 blocks long. The Bladensburg Road is the dividing line, sure, but the neighborhood itself encompasses those 4 streets. And it's cute, it's quaint, it's quiet, it's diverse. It's a Tony Hamlet, and it's neighborhood 4 of 131 neighborhoods in Washington, D.C. Is this called an apiary?
Yeah.
What? Apiary, right?
Yeah. So the 2 different hives is probably about 25,000 bees in each.
I'm sorry, 25,000 bees?
Yeah, 20,000, 25,000, yeah.
What?